Hi everybody.
Hi. Welcome back to Horsing Around.
We're out in the shop again here working on Chanel. And what are we doing today?
We are going to switch out the front axle for a rebuilt, new with lockers.
That's right, a brand new M210 Front Drive Unit.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not new, it's a used one I bought, but we put new gears into it, 513 gears. You saw us do that on the video over at our friend Mike Duncan's. And it also does have the electric locker. So
yay.
That's going into Chanel so that we can install the 37-inch tires and still have good gearing. And in our last video, you saw us put the rear end in. We had bought a used M220 rear end with a locker, and we had already had it re-geared to 513. So we did that last one, and we're going to tackle the front end in this one. Stephanie, what do you think of that last video where we did
the rear end was fairly easy. It was cut and dried, you know, unhook all the brake lines and the electric and just you know, swap it out. It was pretty good. I'm a little hesitant on this one. We got a lot of stuff to do here, so
yeah. So the front is it's a different animal,
different
obviously.
monster here.
It's a IFS, and I haven't done one of these before, so we'll be learning right along with you guys. The M210 front drive unit itself is quite a bit more compact than what we worked on the rear end, but there's more steps to getting to it. We're going to have to probably disconnect part of the front wheel assembly so we can get the axles out. We got to take off some skid plates,
big old heavy thing off
a few
here.
other things. So we've got a lot to do. We're going to go ahead and get to work.
Yep. Follow along with this.
Alright, so if you can get those screws, I will hold this up.
This is a heavy mofo.
Yep.
Alright. No, that's not good. There we go. That thing's heavy.
Yeah.
Sugars.
Oh.
Hey, good job.
Yeah, it is a heavy thing. Lift this up a little bit, going up. So we're going to have to unbolt the drive shaft, just like we did in the rear. Okay. And then we're going to have to take the half shafts out from both sides.
These are different. They're hex.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we have the right tool. But the first thing we need to do is drain the fluid out of that diff.
Drain the oil out of this. Oh.
Drain. So that just takes a 3/8 drive.
One of those.
So look here. This has a magnetic. Should be magnetic. So all of that you see on there is actually
Collected.
yeah, it's like fine ground metal.
I think we gotta take this brake line off here. This is a 10 millimeter on this one. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we got that.
Yeah, and then just go ahead and stick that bolt right back
I've
in.
learned your little trick. Put that back in there so you don't lose it. And then we're gonna switch over here. This is I think there's an 8 millimeter. Let me get this guy out of here. Little guy.
Yeah.
Got this little dude right here. There we go. All right. All right, we're using an 18 millimeter on here.
Getting off the tie rods. Okay, we need to grab a hammer and bang it.
Don't do as he's doing. You're not supposed to hit on that.
Sometimes.
Little gentle persuasion.
Yep.
There we go. Oh. That's falling out. All right. Long extender here.
Probably gonna need a punch on this a little bit. Driver's side is just tougher than the other one.
Basically, we had to undo this shock here in the front and strap up the brake drum. You see, we strapped it here and then strapped it to the bottom right here, and then kind of manhandle this
Yeah.
axle to get it out of there. And we finally got it out. That was a booger bear.
Ooh, that was a bad one. And I think it's got a, ooh, hear that?
Yeah, what is that?
It's a bad CV joint. Remember that's what, like
That's
when
that
we've,
clinking.
when we've been in four-wheel drive?
Yeah.
And you've heard that? From
Yeah.
That's because of that. There it is. Woo! That one was a bitch. Okay. Alrighty, we are now a couple days later. So turns out, here, let me show you guys. I don't know why Ford does this, but these little guys, I did not have a wrench to fit those. It turns out they are Torx Plus. Rear drive shaft has regular old hex bolts. Well, they're not regular, but the shape of the hex is. And front drive shaft, for whatever reason, has a Torx Plus. Now, that's different than a regular Torx, and I do have regular Torx bits. However, they don't fit very snugly in the head of that bolt, and I don't want to risk rounding them out. So what did I do? Went on to Amazon, had to buy a set of Torx Plus bits, and there they are right there. So I now have another new set of tools just for working on this thing. And so I believe it's going to take the T40, if I'm not mistaken, or T45, one of those. So we're going to get right on that. Anyways, the other day we were kind of, Steffi was with me. You saw us working together. It was getting late in the day, and we decided to just head to the house and have some dinner. Thought I would order these bits and then pick it up a few days later when I had some more time off. So here I am. Steffi is actually at work right now. She'll be joining me later, but I'm gonna get to work on this now. So here we go. All right, turns out it is a TP45, Torx Plus 45. So okay, now that the drive shaft is off, here, let's zoom this out a little bit. Probably saw this thing bouncing around a little bit while I was messing with it. It's because I've already loosened this. There's a mounting bolt for the drive unit right up above there. I've already undone that one. I did it when I was getting the axles out to give me a little bit of wiggle room. So, and then there's a couple of electrical connections. There's one, I don't know if that plugs into it. Oh yeah, that's for the front axle disconnect. So, which is this unit right here. We talked about that earlier, the front axle disconnect. So obviously I'm gonna need to disconnect the wires to it. Sometimes stuff is up in there and you have to do it by feel, which is the case with this. All right, let's take a look at this. This was a little bit difficult because I couldn't see up in there what was going on. So this is the plug on the front axle delete mechanism, and you can't see it directly. You gotta do it by feel. So hopefully somebody will find this useful in the future. Anyways, it's oriented like this. This is the top of it up there on the unit, and there's this tab. It's red, but you can't see that it's red from underneath. So you can pull that tab back with your finger, and that unlocks this little tang, so it has to be pushed down, and then you can pull the plug out. So took me a few minutes to figure that out. So anyways, I'm showing it to you here so you won't have to figure it out for yourself. Okay, so now that we've got that disconnected, we need to pull these bolts. There's 3 of them. This one here, and then up underneath here, there's this guy, and then one right on the other side of it. Right up there, you can't see. Okay, so the struggle was up in here. See, there's 2 of these bolts. There's one here, and then the one up in front, which you can't see, is it's a nut on a stud that sticks up. Now the good thing about that one is you only have to loosen it because it has a slot where the diff mounts into it. So if it's loose, you can pull it away. The problem I was having, this is a plastic, I think it's just a drip rail for engine oil, but I had to pull a pin to loosen it so I could move it up and get this socket underneath it. Now, it's 22 millimeter, I think. My 22 millimeter, my short one is too short, and my long one is too long. So I went and found in my box, this is a 13/16, so it's a little bit longer, but not quite as long as a deep socket. So I was able to get enough purchase on it to loosen it up. So that's gonna be a tough spot for most folks. The right tool would probably be a crow foot. I have a set of crow feet wrenches, but not the right size. Okay, there is the M190 next to the M210. So biggest differences is obviously this is the front axle delete unit. Doesn't have it on that one. Cases look similar. I know the ring gear is bigger on the M190. Also, this is an aluminum case versus cast iron.
Hey, good morning.
All right. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. We are back out here. So I don't know how much we will be able to have shown at this point, but we've had a little bit of a cluster trying to get that front end in there. And we kept removing parts to get them out of the way, removing parts, and we finally had to pull the entire steering rack. So we got that out, and by the time we were done with that, it was time for dinner.
I was like, we're done.
We are back at it. I think this will be the
Probably fourth
third
attempt.
or fourth attempt
Trying to
to
get this thing up in here.
put the diff up in there. So let's give it a
All
shot.
right, I feel strong today. Let's pick it up.
Yeah.
Hot damn! Look at this thing going.
Way more better. All right, that's the trick. You got to pull the steering rack out.
Yeah. All right. I think we're tight there.
Got it?
Yeah, I think so.
All righty, so finally got the front diff back in. So it was a bit of an ordeal, but it's up in there. We ended up having to take the steering rack out, which was a big pain in the butt. All right, next stop.
Steering rack.
Steering rack back in. We'll see what fresh hell that presents to us. All right.
Fingers crossed here. Oh, we are war slick.
I feel like we just,
Slayed 3 dragons here.
oh my God, that was, I wouldn't wish that on my mother-in-law. Well, I take it
Yeah,
back.
I would.
I would wish it on her. But nobody else. That was the biggest pain in the ass I've ever had working on anything. Let me turn the camera around, I'll show you. All right, so we finally got the steering rack in there. As you can see, the bolts aren't tight, so it's just sitting up in there. It was a major, major pain in the ass getting it up in there with the diff in place. Of course, we tried it. We weren't able to get the diff in without the rack, so we knew we couldn't go backwards and do it that way. But threading this thing up in there was a
There's
pain
lot
in
of
the ass.
jimmying
And
back and forth.
I tell you, I looked all over YouTube. There's a couple of different videos that show people putting these in. Usually it's with the 74 weld rack. And usually they sort of gloss over it. They you know, they will struggle with it, and then they'll cut to the thing being already in there, and I think I know why. Because it's not a pretty thing. You can't really...
You can't do it in one shot.
And you can't really tell anybody
back
how
and
to
forth.
do it. You just got to struggle and look and find what's in the way, what you got to move, how you can manipulate the thing. You got to twist it, poke it, push it, move stuff. It is just a major, major pain in the ass. Let me show you what my biggest sticking point is. And I don't know if you can see it up in here. But there is a...
Wire junction there.
Yeah, there's a cable here. And this is on the 2.3. So this may be different for other vehicles. So there's a cable here, and it wraps around sort of the bottom of the engine block. And I've loosened it up already. There's just not enough play in it when you put the rack in, the spud coming out of the steering end that goes into the steering shaft, it sticks up into that thing and it hangs. And there's really no good way to kind of hold it up out of the way. I ended up, you know, taking a spud and a hammer and just kind of pounding it up over the thing. You can't get enough leverage on it with a pry bar. And I don't know. We really struggled, but we finally got the damn thing in there.
My shoulders are killing me.
We feel like we've earned the lunch that we have coming, so.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I
we
don't
got...
ever want to do that again anytime in
Yeah,
the near
what sucks is
future.
I hope to do a 74 weld rack at some point, but gosh, the work involved in getting that thing out and then back in is just insane. So,
We'll
all right.
go next time, though.
All right, moving on to the next thing. Okay, well, dog mom,
I got PRP seats.
what time is it, Steph?
It is Miller Lite time. What time is it for you?
Oh, I don't know. This is
I think you got a
Mother Earth.
Earth. Like California Creamin' or something.
yeah, something like that.
That's his favorite.
Okay, so we've completed another stage in our glow
This
up.
looks a lot different than when I left you a little while ago. Got this all buttoned up now.
Yeah, so we have just finished with the front end, and what did we do, Steffi?
We switched out front and rear axles from the M190 to a M210.
So that's actually just the front. So the rear was, we did that in the last video.
Yeah, but we've got it complete, all complete finally, thank God.
Yeah, that was a big job. I tell you, when we finished up the rear end, I knew that the front end was going to be even more work,
He
even
warned
though
me.
it's quite a bit smaller. There's basically you have to pull apart most of the front end of the car to get the old one out and the new one in. And I did not anticipate. I hope I had the camera running, and I haven't edited yet, so I don't know how much of it you will have seen. But the biggest problem is going to be with the steering rack and the diff and the order in which you put them back in. The M190 came out fairly easily, but when we went to go put the M210 back in, we still had the steering rack up there, and it just would not go.
It was hitting in probably 3 different places, and we just could not finagle it to get up in there.
Tried a few different things, loosening the rack bolts, pushing the rack up higher. Just couldn't get it to go. Ended up having to pull the rack out.
We didn't want to, but third try later, we finally succumbed and
then getting that damn steering rack back in,
oh gosh.
we struggled and struggled and struggled, and I'd have Steffi, okay, push on it from that end, and I'll push from this end, and I got a couple pry bars, and I'm trying to pry that wire loom up over the thing, and we finally got it, and it just took forever, and it was a big pain in the ass. It's not something I recommend. So anyways, we finally got it up there, got it buttoned up. So it was very nice being able to just bolt things back together and get it finished buttoned up. So that's the end of, this is a multi-part series. I don't know how long it's gonna be with all the editing, but it took a long time doing the front end. It was a lot harder than the rear end. And the next one, I'm gonna go over just sort of buttoning everything up with both ends. Still gotta put oil, gotta put the tires back on, drop it down, retorque the bolts. And then the thing that I'm kind of anticipating the most is I gotta put the ProCal unit in it to, so the computer knows that we deleted the front axle disconnect. So we'll do that. We'll see what it does, whether it will let me set it for the 37-inch tires, or if I will have to go back into forescan to do that. But anyways, we'll get all that buttoned up in the next one. Stay tuned. We really appreciate you guys following along.
Be sure to add some comments and hit the like button.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Got any questions, go ahead and ask us in the comments. I don't know if I'll be able to answer, but I'll try.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Rack or something heavier duty. Hey, easy girl. So, yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that again. So we'll have to go through that whole process. Hang on a second, the dogs are.
Hey.
Can you see mommy and daddy are filming? Huh? Can you see?
Betsy, go play. Come on, come on, come on, come on, let's go. Okay, go play. All right.
So anyway.
Story of our life with these dogs. You can't do anything in here. They're laying under your feet, or they are, you know, carrying your tools off out in the yard,
You want to be with mommy and daddy.
or they're just, you know, love bugs.
So anyways.